everybody. Get your engines fired up. It's time for Lights Out, Let's Chat.
Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of my new podcast, Lights Out, Let's Chat. I'm your host, Michaela. I'm kind of like your guide to help you understand the world of Formula One. So if you're new here, don't worry. If you're a long timer, just enjoy me reliving my messy entry into this sport. Today, we're starting at the beginning. How I fell in love with Formula One, what pulled me into this world of speed and chaos. And then, because I want you to be prepared, I'm giving you the F1 starter kit. Basically, the things I wish someone told me sooner guide. Okay, so let's talk about how all this actually started. I wasn't one of those people who grew up watching F1 every Sunday with my family. Nope. I was out here living my life, blissfully unaware of how many hours I'd eventually spend watching grown-ups. Okay, let's talk about how all this actually started. I wasn't one of those people who grew up watching F1 every Sunday with the family. Nope. We actually started off as a NASCAR household and then moved from race Sunday to football Sunday. I was out here living my life, blissfully unaware of how many hours I'd eventually spend watching grown men drive in circles at 200 miles per hour. Yes, started because of grown men. For the longest time, I honestly didn't really get the hype until I started seeing TikToks about the show Drive to Survive, and I thought to myself, maybe I'll just watch one episode. That turned into every episode and every season. Because once you actually watch, you realize the drivers aren't just driving. They are putting together a high-speed puzzle where the pieces are on fire. But what really got me hooked, other than the really cute guys, was the storytelling, the personalities, the rivalries, and most importantly, the history. Once you know who's who, suddenly every overtake feels personal. Every pit stop feels stressful. Every little radio message feels like gossip we were absolutely not supposed to hear. But here we are. And then there's that race. Everyone has their moment. The race where something dramatic, ridiculous, or just jaw-dropping happened. And suddenly you're like, okay, I care? I enjoy this sport? This is my life now. And most of my personality, and I'm not mad with it. For me, it was that first race where I found myself yelling at the TV screen while my parents stared at me like I had 5 heads. You know, the moment where your emotions get involved. I went from, I'll just watch for fun, to, I swear, if this team messes up their pit stop again, that was it. That was the point of no return. Ever since then, I've been learning, watching, spiraling, and now I'm starting a podcast about it. Honestly, this sport sneaks up on you and then refuses to let go. In a really great way. Alright, now that you know more about my F1 life, aka my personality, let's get you ready for this upcoming season so it doesn't feel like you're reading subtitles at 2 times speed. We'll start off pretty simple. The teams and drivers. There are 10 teams, also called constructors, and each one has 2 drivers, so 20 cars total. But don't let that number fool you. Every team has their own personality, their own drama, and their own fan base that will defend them like it's a full-time job. Now that you kind of get the basics of teams and drivers, let's talk points. We've got 2 championships going on at the same time, which is kind of crazy to think about. You have the Drivers' Championship. Which driver scores the most points? And then there's the Constructors' Championship. Which team scores the most points? Both definitely matter. The Constructors' title comes with big money, which I need right now, and the Drivers' title comes with bragging rights, documentaries, and, of course, personal memes. Time to talk about the important things. You know, like a race weekend? A normal race weekend has practice. Drivers figure out the track, teams test setups. Then there's qualifying. Basically a timed battle set to set the grid. And finally, the race, the main event. But sometimes we get sprint weekend, which is like a mini race added in, because apparently F1 decides Sundays alone weren't stressful enough. Speaking of stress, let's jump into strategy, the secret sauce of each team. Strategy is honestly half the sport. Tire choices, pit stop timing, safety cars, weather. Sometimes a race is won not because someone is faster, but because someone's strategist had a galaxy brain moment, which sometimes involves drama. And there's plenty of it. So, let's be honest. The reason the sport is booming, it's fast, it's intense, and the storylines are chaotic in the best way. You get speed and soap opera energy. Not to mention, the drivers are fine AF. It's perfect. You guys are probably wondering, Michaela, why are you starting a podcast? Well, answer's simple. I want to make F1 fun, relatable, and actually easy to understand. When I was first learning, there were things that made no sense. DRS, team pit stops, even the random penalties that get announced 3 hours after the race ends. Like, why? Why do you do this to me? So, every week, I'm breaking things down the way I wished someone had explained them to me. Clear, simple, with a little bit of personality. We're talking news, predictions, race recaps, and I'll give you my honest opinions because I have many. Like, why on earth are we getting rid of DRS? I just learned it in the 2025 season. Another opinion I have is Lando Norris definitely deserved to be world champion. Oh man, I'm letting my fangirl show. Even though he is my favorite driver, we will definitely talk about the others. Speaking of opinions, I will have a guest host jumping on once in a while. In my family, he is known as Mr. F1. And boy oh boy does he have opinions. He might have been watching F1 before I was even born, so he definitely has the experience. More than I do. Him and I don't always agree. Like how he's a Max Verstappen fan, and well, Max is definitely not my favorite driver. But I still like chatting with Mr. F1 about F1 things. And I can't wait to have him join us on our show. And yes, we will definitely embrace the chaos. F1 is chaotic, we might as well join in. So, thank you so much for being here on the first episode of Lights Out, Let's Chat. If you made it this far, you're officially part of this journey with me. I can't wait to go through the season together. The wins, the heartbreaks, the drama, all of it. Buckle up, welcome to the grid.
From Lights Out to the Checkered Flag, this has been Lights Out, Let's Chat podcast. We'll see you next time.